I'm 𝐍𝐸 and welcome back to my channel. In today's episode of Our Life Beginnings and Always, we are going to be finishing step 2. I can't believe it. But before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button, share this video with your friends so then they can find my amazing challenges we have right now. So yeah, let's get into it and hope you enjoy. So we left off with how our mom was saying Derek had a good dinner posture or something like that. A lot of you could learn a thing or two here from Derek. He has the best manners here. Derek blushed, but it was true. His posture was upright and formal. He even held his fork gracefully. His table manners, on top of all his attempts to aid your parents, made him the model of meal attendee behavior. Aww. It's nothing. It's true, though. You have been a lovely guest. Aw, that's so sweet. I've noticed that, too. It's always nice when you stay over, Derek. Derek smiled and sat a little taller in his seat. And do you have anything good to say about our other guest? She looked deliberately at Cove with a teasing smirk. Or is there just nothing to say? Well, Cove is my number one, but he still does clean his hands by wiping them on his pants. Cove frowned at that and absent-mindedly brushed his hands on his pant legs. Your mom's laughed slightly.
There.
Elizabeth, you should know, after all these years, Cove is hardly a guest anymore. Cove smiled awkwardly. Thanks. Who cares? I don't think it's that big of a deal. Me neither. Everyone ate their meal together and continued to hang out for the afternoon. After the food, you and the others played a couple of games and talked about plans for the upcoming year. The time passed by quickly, and soon it was time to part ways. Mr. Holden talked to your moms, and Cove drifted over to you, knowing that as soon as his dad finished up, he would be leaving. It'd be cool to stay, but we have to do some stuff to do before everything closes today.
Okay.
Yeah, bye. Could you move? I need the phone. Cove raised an eyebrow, and Elizabeth impatiently gestured behind him. Cove realized he was sitting right in front of where the receiver was placed. He sidestepped out of the way and shook his head, clearly thinking Elizabeth was rushing too much. His sister made a beeline for the phone and started dialing a number what you figured was one of her friends, knowing Elizabeth she was going to be on there for a while. You, Cove, and Derek shuffled closer to the door. It seemed like Mr. Holden was wrapping up his conversation, so everyone started saying their various farewells.
Talk to you later.
See you later, Cove. We gotta do this again sometime. Yeah, see you. Cove turned to you and smiled slightly. Bye, Mina. No, give him a hug. Aww. You stepped forward and spread your arms wide. Cove only had a moment to react before you encircled him in your arms. Cove hugged you back tightly and his chest rumbled as he laughed. His cheeks were slightly red, especially when he looked over and noticed that Derek had watched the whole thing. Derek smiled amusedly. Seriously, dude, we'll have to hang out later. I'm gonna miss you during school. He offered Cove a high five, then two boys clapped their hands together. Cove and his dad left soon after that. Your parents started cleaning up the house, and Elizabeth was still chatting to her friends on the phone. It was just you and Derek left. He elected to stay outside in front of the house to wait for his dad to pick him up. He decided to keep your guest company, although he was originally Cove's visitor. A light summer breeze blew through your hair, and Derek shifted his weight from foot to foot. Thanks for waiting with me. He kicked at the ground distractedly.
Well,
Dad's still gonna be a while, so do you want to go for a walk? Sure, I don't mind. The two of you walked down the street again, just wandering without a destination plan. It was a quiet stroll, too quiet for Derek being the company. You turned to him and you had noticed that he wasn't saying a word. That was unusual. Derek always had something to say he could chat about. You weren't sure if you should ask him about it. I'm messing up all my words, sorry everyone. Somehow you had ended up at the old park near the beach. You glanced over to Derek once more, still expecting him to say something any second now. However, nothing came from him. In fact, now you notice a frown creeping on his face. Derek smiled when he realized you were watching. At least his mouth was turned up. There wasn't anything that really felt happy in the expression. He turned away and the smile fell off his face. His eyes stared intently at the ground. You raised an eyebrow. If you want to talk about something, I'm here. I'm a little sad. Oh, Oh, Derek. It's just when school starting it back up again, it's going to be harder to visit. I'm going to have homework and clubs and practices and everything else.
This sucks.
It really sucks we go to different schools. And I need to turn down this volume on the voice. It is so loud, dude. His face screwed up and his fists were closed tightly together. This was really concerning him. What if we don't have time? Show some optimism. We'll make time. We can talk over the phone and have plans for weekends. It'll be okay. Tara looked up at the sky. It was orange and purple with little wisps of clouds scattered around. A plane flew high with a jet stream trailing behind it. Then he turned to the ground again. Derek's face was tilted far enough down that it was hard to read his expression. Hey Mia, I actually wanted to talk to you about something if you don't mind. There was a pause and you waited for him to finish his thought.
Sorry.
I was just kind of wondering, do you like guys at all? What? Like, would you ever want to be with someone who's a boy? Sorry, that's weird to ask. I don't know. Okay, then he hesitated before finishing his question. So, what it means is, it's just, is there any guy you think is kind of cool that you like around here? Not at school or anything like that. He ducked his head further. You already knew the answer. You had confronted that very topic this afternoon. Well, I like Cove. Derek chuckled and didn't look at all surprised. Yeah, I kind of thought so. That's cool. I really hope things work out. Thanks for answering my random questions. I thought he had a crush on us for a second. He shot you a thumbs up. I hope we'll always be friends, no matter what. Even if we don't see each other for a long time, or if we get really busy, I still hope. He cut himself off and met your eyes. There was something serious to him, sincerely worried that you'd fall out of friendship. We're always going to be friends. Derek smiled, mostly to himself. He seemed a little more like the usual. Then for sure, we have to make the most of next year, then the year after that, and the year after that. He rambled on for a while about things. We'll just make the most of every year. Right. You smiled and felt like your friendship was still strong. You didn't spend much longer at the park after that. Derek didn't want to miss his dad, so you both made your way back to your street. After Derek went home, you both settled in for the night. Or you decided to settle in for the night. Stretching your arms over your head, you noticed that the living room and the phone were free. Oh, let's call Lee! You picked up the receiver and quickly punched in the familiar number while going to take a seat on the couch. Soon enough, after explaining the situation to the housekeeper, Lee answered.
Hey!
Hi! Hi, Lee, can you talk? Definitely, we practically have to. My gosh, can you believe it's almost time for school to start? What happened to our summer? I know, right? School starts first thing tomorrow for me. Ew, and I thought starting next week was bad enough. Enjoy your last week. Oh, I will. I hope you'll survive your first day. I'm looking forward to it. Then I have nothing to worry about. You'll have a better chance at surviving. And at least summer was nice that it lasted, right? We were busy. Yeah. Finally, you thought about all the best memories you made this summer. Lee was there for some, but there were still many you hadn't filled her in on yet. Okay, let's talk about a moment our summer. Oh my gosh, we had so many nice, moments. Oh my gosh. The ones that I really enjoyed the most, for number one, had to be Cobb's mom. Like, come on, Kira the queen. One time, Cobb's mom had me and Cobb go with her on this ride all over town. Why'd she do that? Just cause? Sort of. We got caught in a sun shower and she wanted to help us air dry, and it kept going from there. I had a blast. We did so much that night. I hope it's not so much that you can't tell me all of it. You chuckled a little and started giving the play-by-play of the trip. Let's talk about a lot. You began to speak about, okay. So number two, the road trip. Come on, let's go with that. I went on vacation. Coach's parents ended up inviting my whole family on an RV road trip.
Really?
Whoa, that's awesome! It was a 3-day trip and we visited the Redwood National Forest. That I really liked. I really liked how we visited, the tallest tree on Earth Park or whatever it is. Cove was Cove did what? He tried to flirt. I was surprised too. Ah, I'm so happy for you. Had to keep me updated on what happens next. Oh, girl, you don't know what happened. It was hard to focus on what she was saying. Your face is probably red right now just thinking about what happened. Alright. Then let's talk about the story. Yeah. I went to a story at my mom's country club. There was lots of food, dancing, and people dressed up formally. Oh, I've been to one of those before. They're cool, but how did it go for you? Could give me a flower. It was my favorite kind. That's so sweet. Wait, was he your date? Yeah. Ooh. I love this character. I love Lee. I love their like little bond, like Mina and Lee. I love it. After laughing a bit, you dove into telling Lee everything about your night with Cove. You enjoyed sharing that memory with her. Yeah, let's keep talking about some stuff. And that incredibly hot afternoon, where he said I was cute. I remember the hottest day this summer. I could barely do anything and had to stay inside the entire afternoon. Cove said it was cute. Well, he wrote it. We were playing Hangman, and that's what he picked for me to figure out. You heard her audibly gasp. That's such a move. What did you do? You filled her in as much as you were willing, and she gratefully took in all the details. Okay, let's still talk about it. Okay. The shopping trip. I really like that too. There was this one day that mom. Oh wait, I thought we were talking about the mall. No. Go back. Yeah, just do that one. There was this day that Mom and Ma took me and Elizabeth on a big supply shopping trip. But me, that's so memorable. We chuckled, but you could hear the curiosity in her voice. Cove taught me some surfing that day. Ooh, lucky. Was he a good teacher? You were happy that Lee couldn't see the blush burning on your face. Your voice came out almost too soft, and you knew Lee was enjoying every bit of your embarrassment. Yeah. What was the big highlight of your summer? What was your big highlight of the summer, Lee? Talking to you was always the best part of my summer. Aww. Even though it was a phone call, you just knew that Lee was winking at you. Oh. Oh, wait. No, that one. That had Lee laughing hard for a few moments. Alright, okay. So, a high point for me was when I took that trip with my parents to Europe. That was amazing. Lucky. I've always wanted to go to Europe. You and Lee continued to go over your adventures until you both were yawning to each other over the phone. Oh! Tell her. There was a pause of silence. Knowing your cousin, you decided to pull your ear away from the phone. As expected, a screech loud enough for you to still make out clearly from a distance crackled through the speaker. When you felt it was safe, you put the phone back against your head. Leah was still gushing to herself, though a little less loudly. Why did you say so sooner? He had to have liked you back, right? You two are the most perfect pair ever. Tell me, please. You used the precious little time you had left to try filling her in as best as you were capable of in that moment. But soon the approach of Curfew became too much for you to ignore, despite how excited both of you were. At that, you decided it was time to say goodbye for now. You did have school to wake up for in the morning. Bye, Lee. Night, Mina. Talk to you later. Bye. You left the phone on the side table for now. Looking at the clock on the wall, you saw there was only about 10 minutes until your mom would be insisting you had to go to bed so you could be rested enough for school. You stretched your legs out on the couch and sighed in defeat, watching the minute hand change 1 minute closer to bedtime. You rearranged yourself, feeling restless, and looked out the window. Startled initially, you spotted a figure out in the hills. It was Cove. When the surprise faded, you realized it wasn't that much of a shock at all. It was exactly something Cove would do. You ran off to go see him. Sprinting, you reached the front door in record time. You didn't think you'd see Cove again that day. You had to go to him. When you arrived, you noticed how many fireflies were out that night. They drifted along lazily, barely minding your presence as you waited through to reach the top of the hill. Cove turned towards you as you approached, and you noticed right away that Cove looked happy to see you. Hey, You had a bounce in your step. You weren't sure how long you'd get before your mom's roped you back inside for bed. Hey, what are you doing out here? Nothing, not really. He shrugged, seeming unhappy with his own answer. You stared at him, waiting for him to continue. Well, I guess I was feeling kind of weird about stuff, so I'm getting some fresh air before bed. I know how you feel. It's hard to stay still. Tomorrow's going to be the start of a new year. At the mention of schools, a small noise escaped him. Kovle let himself fall back onto his butt and then all the way down, so he was lying on his back. He looked up at the sky. Aha! Sunal's chest! He made himself a pretty beautiful seat with the way he was laid out. You plopped yourself square in the middle of his torso. Oh, Mina! He jolted up in surprise, though couldn't get far with you on top of him. He plopped right back into the grass. With a huff, he just gave up on being shocked. Fine. You snickered in a self-satisfied way. He had been lost in thought, or was possibly waiting for you to situate yourself, but he started speaking unprompted again. I'm sorry for being kind of awkward when my mom was leaving. Surprised, you stared at him a moment. You weren't expecting that. I just wanted to let you know that I talked to my dad about how I feel and things. It's okay now. You were genuinely glad to hear that, and it brought a small smile to your face, but your thoughts quickly wandered back to the first day you met Mr. Holden. Did his dad confess about that? From the way Cove guessed, you thought he hadn't. From the way Cove talked, you guess he hadn't, because I keep rearranging the words, so stop doing that, Amber. So there was more to Cove and his dad should talk about, but it was a relief to know that they had made a start. Now was a good time to bring up what you were thinking, though you could wait longer to say it. It was almost unbelievable how much of an impact he made on your life just by moving in next door. You couldn't even imagine what your days might have looked like in a world where you hadn't met him. Cove glanced back at you, waiting for a response, and you had no idea what to say. Then, still without a word from you, Cove shook his head strongly. What? It's you. Huh? He snickered before answering. He looked thoroughly amused with your reaction. That's what you do all the time, so I'm being you. I don't do it that much. Cove burst into deep laughter. When it slowed, he continued to grin. Honestly, there weren't many people you could think of who could tease you about something like that. Returning a smile, you realized there was no denying that you two had been around each other for a long time. Cove broke the quiet before it could fully settle. Hey, I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, see you then. When the final wave, Cove headed for home, but you stayed there a few minutes longer. Your mind kept going back to his simple statement, see you tomorrow. No matter how much was changing around you, there were some things in your life that always seemed to remain true. The hills felt warm to you that night. Before you knew it, you were getting comfortable under the covers in your room. Your mind couldn't help but still be buzzing with thoughts about the future. It was hard not to think about Cove. There hadn't been enough time to really figure it all out after what happened between you. You felt unsure, honestly. I think for her, just them getting together seems weird because they've been best friends for a long time. I think that'd be weird for anyone, to be honest. And she's probably just like, oh, I'm not sure. Maybe I should just, not say it again or whatever. Obviously, that's not what's going to happen, but I'm just saying. Like, we can pretend that happened. In your life, oh my goodness. A new chapter in your life was about to begin, and no one could say what it was going to be like. Slowly, your eyes grew heavy as you drifted off to sleep, your mind spinning with wishful thoughts. No matter what happened next, you could only hope that you would make the most of it. You were ensnared in a dream when a noise from the outside world jostled you. No. What was that? The light clatter continued. Now you were more alert. You could distinguish it as a tapping sound, quiet, slow, but persistent. Each beat was like being poked. You couldn't ignore it. You lifted your head from the pillow and looked for the source. Oh, it's Cove. Not much work was needed to puzzle it out. It was from the window. With that, you knew exactly what it was. From the color of the light filtering into your room, it was too early for anyone to be awake, including the sun. It had barely hauled itself over the horizon. But that didn't stop some people, it seemed. You sat up in bed and opened the window wide. Cool air, not yet warmed by the day, tickled your face as it pushed into your room. And just like you expected, there was your neighbor crouching on your windowsill. He was fully dressed, though not for school. Aw, cute! He was wearing a wetsuit and a shy smile. Hi, Mina. You stared back, blinking. So technically we won't be back to school for a few more hours. His voice was delicate yet deliberate, each word a careful explanation. Classes haven't actually started yet, so do you want to hit the beach with me one more time this summer? Always. His smile widened affectionately. You rushed to get changed into something suitable while Cove climbed back down to ground level. Your limbs, still half asleep, struggled somewhat as you attempted to coordinate them into a swimsuit, but you got there in the end. Soon you were tiptoeing out your front door, clutching a towel. Cove was already there to greet you. Your eyes met. Cove's gaze darted to your destination and back to you. You checked the door was closed, gave him a thumbs up, and the two of you leapt into action. Oh my god! Wordlessly, you began to run down the familiar path ahead, Cove beside you. The thrill of your illicit outing made you want to laugh. No, not that you dared. If anyone in your family looked out and saw you, then your summer would be back to being over. One glance at Cove told you that he was exactly the same, holding back snickers for fear of being heard and caught. The towel streamed out from under your arm like a cape. You were running so fast downhill that sleepily keeping your balance and not tumbling down was a real threat. Ooh. It wasn't just enough of one to make you slow your pace. For every step you took, the beach was a little closer and the day a little brighter. What lay ahead of you would arrive, and you were happy to meet it. Ah! In between! No! Step 2 is over! No! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Oh Lord! Okay. And that's where we're going to leave today's video because I feel mean. I'm kidding. Wow, I love that. Oh my god, I love that step. That's my favorite step so far. Oh Lord. This step has been a roller coaster of emotions to romance to whatever. So, oh my gosh, guys, I can't believe step 2 is over. Wow. I love that ending to that step. Oh, wow. But I think that is where I'm going to leave today's episode. So next episode we're going to be starting step 3. I can't believe we're this far into this game. Okay, that is all for today. But lastly, you're a gentleman. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye!